For more, let's bring in House Judiciary and House Natural Resources Committee member, Wisconsin Congressman Tom Tiffany. Times are tight, Congressman, for small businesses. And if we're going to take on China, should the president speak directly to the American people in this time of war? It's a trade war, but China being an adversary and not a rival. Should the president sit down and have kind of as Charles Payne described it, kind of an FDR-like speech to the American people saying you must be willing to give up things and hunker down in a time of war, because that's really we're not going to get these trade deals done fast enough to stave off the pain, certainly not for small businesses.
Well, Dagan, to a certain extent, we've become an addict here in America on cheap China goods over the last couple decades. And as you're well aware of, addicts, the withdrawal symptoms are really harsh. And we need to do this sooner rather than later, or it's going to be even tougher medicine a decade from now or 2 decades from now. China seeks hegemony here in the 21st century. We finally have a president that's willing to stand up to that. And by the way, that's why I introduced a bill just a week ago to take the United States out of the World Trade Organization, or at least have Congress have a vote on the World Trade Organization membership by the United States.
You know, Congressman, and I like Dagan's idea, of course, the president speaking to the American people, that fireside chat approach. You know, he's been honest with the American people. He said there's going to be disruptions, there's going to be pain, we have a lot of problems to fix. A lot of other nations have come back to the table, and to the point Dagan made, the deals are not all going to get done soon, but the first ones to the table will get the better deal, right? That's Trump's art of the deal approach. Do you think that Congress can play a role in communicating this as well? And what about to our allies around the world who Xi Jinping is known to put pressure on, but he's not as strong as he pretends to be?
Yeah, to finally answer Dagan's question, perhaps he should do that and have like a fireside chat. But, you know, this president has been very open in discussing what he's going to do. Plus, he was very candid with the American people in the run-up to November 5th. They voted for him as a result of that. We've seen American manufacturing and farm sector be decimated over the last few decades. And it's time for someone to take a tough approach on this. And that is exactly what the president is doing. So we all need to be talking about it. And I can tell you, David, I talk about it regularly, and it's part of the reason I introduced the WTO resolution. And I can tell you there's a lot of people that are supportive of getting us out of one of these multinational agreements that seems to always screw America and benefit China.
Well, I can tell you that big CEOs have the number to the bat phone to the White House. And all these big companies, these big retailers were down there today. And the big U.S. tech companies, just like Apple, got a carve out and got relief from the China tariffs, except for the 20%, and relief from the 10% tariff for their smartphones coming into the U.S. But you know who gets no relief? Any small business who imports from China. So you got to speak to them, and they don't have access to the big guys. And so there's a lot of pain, and there's a lot of a final word.
Yeah, that's what people believe, is that President Trump is speaking for Main Street. Wall Street has done very well, and I hope they continue to do well. Main Street is not, and all you got to do is go to places like in my district where main streets are hollowed out. People are counting on President Trump standing there, standing firmly, and bringing factories and mills back to America. We still want to trade with China, but we have to decouple to a certain extent.
Yep, I come from that place, one of the hardest hit places in the whole country, Campbell County, Virginia. But what did my dad tell me over the phone? Volvo's cutting jobs out in Southwest Virginia because of the tariffs. Congressman Tom Tiffany, thank you. Good to see you.